Oh, hello. Like we mentioned before, anybody who's anybody in the Caribbean has a sword. And a mystical sword is even better. Like that blackguard Blackbeard that shrunk the pearl. Anyway, besides all that, where do we leave off? Oh, yes. So, the storm was closing in again. And now we have spotted a palace. We're about to enter inside. Now we have to find out what lies within. So, come closer, and I'll continue the tale. Chapter 9. The Coming Storm. The palace was a sight to behold. Even in its current decrepit state, it had an aura of grandness. The doors, long since rotted off their hinges, revealed a formal hall that led to the rooms within. Jack surveyed the entrance. They weren't going to be as well protected here as he had hoped. What had once been a solid, sturdy structure was now almost rocking in the storm. The wind howled through the cracks in the boulders and the bricks, and moaned down the hallways. It was difficult to see more than a few feet ahead or above through the gloom of the storm. Large sheets of spiders' webs rippled in corners, and dead vines made eerie scratching noises on the floor. Ornate trees and flowers were carved into the floor's giant flagstones. Rectangular decorated warriors danced and fought. In the middle was a giant plaque of a god with a feathered headdress. Quetzalcoatl. I don't trust this, Tumon said, motioning towards a carving on the floor of the palace. This is the mark of an Aztec god. Oh good, Jack said. That means we're on the right track. And then the floor fell away. Tumon yelled and tumbled into the giant pit that had opened up. Fitzwilliam lunged forward and grabbed Tumon's arms, but the boy's weight and momentum were too much. Fitz slid over the floor and was pulled to the edge of the pit. Jack threw himself to the ground and grabbed Fitzwilliam's ankles. It wasn't enough. Jean grabbed onto Jack's legs, but they were all still being dragged towards the bottom of the pit. Jack's skin scraped against the flagstones. He tried to grind his feet into the floor, but it didn't help. I'm slipping! Tumon cried. One of his arms slipped out of Fitzwilliam's grasp. The sudden jerk pulled them all down another few feet. Fitzwilliam was yanked over the side. His face scraped against the ledge as he went, leaving a smear of blood on the stone. Not very handsome anymore now, is he? Jean drew Constance aside, apologizing to her, and threw himself on top of Jack, but it still wasn't enough. Arabella! Jack called out. Rip off your skirt! Unnecessary. What? She demanded, shocked. Just the outer one, he said in exasperation. Tie it around that column and grab onto Jean. Without a second thought, Arabella did as she said, tearing her outer skirt in as large a piece as possible. She then wrapped it around the base of the crumpled column and tied it back around her waist. She grabbed onto Jean. Constance yowled unhelpfully. Finally, their descent into the pit was stopped. Jack's head was over the edge, and he could see past Fitzwilliam and Tumon. Gleaming in the darkness below were what looked like giant sharp spikes sticking out of foul-smelling black water. A close one, mate, Jack shivered. Slowly, straining and groaning, the three of them managed to pull up Fitzwilliam out, followed by Tumon, who was swearing profusely in whatever language he spoke. With the floor opening up under them, the hall was now a wide black pit with narrow ledges on either side. I don't like heights, Jean said, looking nervously over the edge. I thought you were Monsieur Sailor Extraordinaire, Fitzwilliam taunted. That's different, Jean protested. Jack, Arabella and Tumon took one side, and Jean, Fitzwilliam and Constance the other. They kept their backs to the wall and moved slowly, edging 1 foot along at a time. Are those alligators down there? Arabella said, hearing snaps in the black water below. Jack looked down and his eyes bulged. Don't look, he suggested, or you wish they were alligators. After what seemed like ages, they finally reached the other side of the pit. Well, that was bloody awful, Fitzwilliam said, brushing a fleck of dust off his spotless jacket. Although his face was scratched from the edge of the pit, Fitz somehow didn't have a hair out of place. That's very strange. "Jack, look!" Arabella breathed. In the room beyond, rows and rows of skeletons knelt, their bony faces towards the floor, and before them, seated in an enormous carved stone throne, was the grinning skeleton of Captain Stone-Eyed Sam. And I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. So, have we come to the end of our quest? Have we found the Sword of Cortés? Well, I'm afraid that you're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out the answer to that one. And until then, keep your sailing smooth, the wind always at your back, and may your compass always point true. Good night.